unbelievable. It's just sad.
A shock to a quiet community in McGregor. 5 people dead. Tonight, a suspect in custody. More on what we now know. And BEA Beautiful looking out on our Clark roofing cam. Sunny skies this afternoon, clear skies overnight. Temps right where they should be, but dry conditions leading to an increase in our drought. More on our forecast. KRHD News starts right now. Breaking tonight, this woman, Patricia Ann Hulsman, was last seen on September 9th. Authorities in Madison County believe she's in danger of death or serious injury. Now, she may be in a dark gray Toyota Tundra. That was last seen southbound on I-45 back on September 12th. If you see this car or you have any information about where she is, please contact police.
Familiar with a situation that happened in McGregor today. So the Texas Rangers were called out by McGregor Police Department to investigate an officer-involved shooting and also another incident that transpired.
And thanks for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Garrett Hoddle. You heard a little bit about that there. We're now learning new details of a shooting that happened in McGregor. 5 people dead, a suspect in custody. Here's what we know. This all happened around 8 o'clock this morning in the town of McGregor. When police arrived at the scene, they discovered something that troubled them in this quiet neighborhood. Police arrested a shooter after exchanging gunfire. Tonight, the McLennan County Sheriff's Department says the shooter is in the hospital recovering, all after being shot by an officer. Now, details are still slim. For now, authorities are staying tight-lipped and asking for healing in the community. Meanwhile, today and this evening, I've been speaking with a family member of the victims. Renee Flores is the sister-in-law of one of the women who was shot. She sent me these pictures that you should see here of Natalie Aviles and her daughter Lori. Renee tells me they were innocent bystanders in the violence today. She said Lori was an associate pastor at Bethlehem Christian Church over in McGregor and loved her community. She also said Natalie was a worship leader and going to school to be a nurse. She was also Miss McGregor for 2 terms. Renee tells me they were also best friends. It's a sad story. Earlier tonight, Renee told me a prayer gathering took place at Bethlehem Church in McGregor. You can see from the picture there that she sent me earlier from the size of the crowd how much both Lori and Natalie meant to the community. Tonight, Renee is telling me following today's horrific events, 2 young boys, just a senior and junior in high school, are without their mother, Lori. A GoFundMe has been set up by the family. You can find more information on how to help them online at our website or over on our Facebook page.
This is an everyday occurrence. It's unfortunate that it's led to this. It was just a matter of time something like this occurred.
Also new tonight, a 3-vehicle crash in Uvalde left 2 people dead and sent 10 others to the hospital Wednesday evening. According to police, the crash involved migrants, but further details are still limited. Authorities closed off the intersection shortly after the crash as officers canvassed the scene. Those who were injured were taken to hospitals between Uvalde and San Antonio, according to police. Their conditions still unknown. Also new tonight, a jail warden for a private detention facility in Sierra Blanca and his brother are now behind bars this evening. The facility is along the border just south of Fort Hancock. Both were arrested in connection to a shooting that killed 1 migrant and injured another. This is according to a Department of Public Safety spokeswoman. Mike Shepard is the warden there. His brother Mark was also arrested. Both were booked into the El Paso County Detention Facility today. 3 parents of survivors of the Uvalde, Texas elementary school shooting filed a lawsuit against a gun maker, the school district, the city, and others. The lawsuit has a host of allegations, including negligence and recklessness. Among the claims, lawyers for the family say the manufacturer of the gunman's weapon employs aggressive marketing tactics that recklessly endanger kids. The city's police department also is claimed to have failed to protect the victims by not following state-mandated active shooter training. The families are seeking a jury trial and punitive damages. People in Florida waking up today to widespread devastation. At least 15 deaths have been reported so far as Hurricane Ian ravaged the community. That number could now be much higher. Now the Carolinas are bracing for the storm's wrath. Gloria Pazmino has more.
As daylight broke Thursday, it revealed catastrophic devastation in Florida in the wake of Hurricane Ian. Entire neighborhoods underwater, power lines turned down, debris scattered in streets. Residents in Florida now trying to pick up the pieces.
If I would have knew it was going to be this bad, I would have got me and my family out ahead of time.
Search and rescue crews from multiple agencies rushing to help people trapped in their homes. But in areas like Sanibel Island, it's impossible to get there by car because the causeway is the only connection to Florida's mainland, and it's now in pieces.
As you can imagine, it is pretty devastating. And what it really does is left the place almost unrecognizable in some places.
Hurricane Ian slammed Florida's southwestern coast Wednesday as a Category 4 storm, bringing life-threatening storm surge, historic flooding, and winds near 150 miles per hour. But it's not just the coast that was slammed. As the storm turned east, it dumped rain on central Florida, triggering freshwater flooding.
This could be the deadliest hurricane in Florida's history.
As Florida assesses the devastating damage, President Joe Biden saying the federal government will be sending funds for emergency response efforts. In Fort Myers, Florida, I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
Also tonight, Texas firefighters are battling a blaze out in Palo Pinto County. This is in northeast Texas and has been a concern we've been warning y'all about this week. The Forest Service says they responded to 13 wildfires today. Dry weather and dry vegetation conditions are ripe for wildfire starts. And that's the concern we've been talking about, fire weather concerns. You'll notice our forecast for Friday. This is according to the Texas A&M Forest Service in terms of fire danger. Moderate across the Brazos Valley. We did see some high fire danger start to creep into our eastern counties, places like Leon County. And you'll notice just east of the Brazos Valley is where we're seeing that danger currently. Now, that could increase as we go throughout the weekend because we're not expecting any rain. We did get an updated look at our drought monitor, which really didn't show any good news because we just haven't seen any rain. We're seeing those dry, cool conditions continuing, and that's going to allow for some drought conditions to increase. And you'll notice just south of places like Washington County, extreme drought starting to creep back into the picture. Our friends towards I-35 in central Texas as well are going to be contending with a little bit of the worst of it. So this is something very important that we're going to be keeping an eye on, especially as it relates to fires, because the story just hasn't changed, folks. We're going to stay dry. It looks like going forward through the weekend. It's going to be cool, so it will feel nice out there, especially in the morning. But if we get any of those strong wind gusts, that's going to be an issue. Meanwhile, we are keeping an eye on Hurricane Ian, once again back in the Atlantic, moving towards, it looks like, South Carolina. Maybe places like the southern coast of Georgia could be affected as well. North Carolina, we know, is under a state of emergency, so all our friends here, we hope, are staying weather aware as the recovery process continues in places like northern and central Florida, as Ian just isn't done yet. This is going to be something we keep an eye on. And here's a quick look. Once again, it was downgraded to a tropical storm, and now it's back at hurricane strength. This was the issue that we were talking about that we thought would play out with this system. As we go forward throughout the course of our weekend, we're likely going to be dealing with some of this, and the remnants may move a little further north in places like North Carolina. 10-day forecast here in Texas. Totally different story for us in the Brazos Valley. Looks like it's going to be a gorgeous weekend, gorgeous week ahead. Plenty of clear blue sky, high temperatures right where they should be for this time of year. Very fall-like weather, 87 for our Friday, 56 overnight. It's going to feel cool when you wake up in the morning, folks, and the weekend is looking like a gorgeous one. Although the Aggies have an away game, it will be nice and pretty when they get back. Sunday highs, 88 degrees, 60 when you wake up on Monday. Take a look here. We can now see the aftermath of NASA's most recent mission. The Hubble and James Webb telescopes were pointed at the asteroid struck by that DART spacecraft on Monday. That marked the first time NASA was able to purposely crash into an asteroid and potentially change its trajectory. Images from the telescopes were taken before and after the crash,